So this Jewish guy came for foundational black Americans and was attacking them. Crazily, he set his camera, set his phone, and just began to rant and said that foundational black Americans, referring to black Americans, should be deported. That sounds crazy. All credit to the original content creators and skittists that will be sharing this video. So we're diving right into it, guys. Let's watch what he has to say and what the black community responded as regards to the video he made.
I make videos on black people because I hate them. I make it because I'm tired of them pulling the victim card anytime anything goes wrong for them. If white people suck so much and this country's so bad and so racist, just go back to yours for them. If white people suck so much and this country's so bad and so racist, just go back to yours.
I'm never leaving this bitch. And I can continue to talk about anything I fucking want, and that includes the inability of mediocre white men like yourself to get over your goddamn self. Oh, I'm sorry, did you want to say it again? The fuck makes you think I'm leaving? Matter of fact, I'm guessing Gio is your name. Where are you from? No, not the state, not the state. No. Country of origin. You don't look native. In fact, you're not. So when the fuck are you going home? Oh, and you want to talk about victimhood? January 6th, 2021. Never in the history of never have black people ever done anything like that. Never. We've never stormed the Capitol because an election was lost. We ain't never done no shit like that. But guys that look just like you did. So when you leaving? When you getting the fuck out? When you going? You, your daddy, your mama, your grandmama, your great-grandmama, dig them hoes up and send their ass back to where the fuck they came from. I'm pretty sure it probably would be Italy. You look Italian. Take your ass on. Go. Get the fuck out. Oh, now you don't like it when we do it. Fine, then sit your fuck down and shut the fuck up. You in black folks' business because you have none. You're mediocre, below average, plain. You are a plain bagel with nothing on it. And you have the audacity and the nerve to be over in our motherfucking business. Bitch, we can talk about anybody in this motherfucker because guess what? You can't send us the fuck back because you can't find a receipt. I will never leave this motherfucker if I don't want to. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it, little boy. You should grow up. You should get some business. You should find something, some passion in your fucking life and get the fuck out of ours. As long as black folks live here, we can criticize the United States and the motherfucking citizens and white people in general and in particular all the fuck we want. And there's nothing you can do about it except whine in your car. Yeah. I'll leave when you leave. When you pack your fucking family up and get the fuck out, I'll leave. If you ain't gonna go, bitch, neither am I. Oh, you don't like it? Fuck you. Who cares? Like, don't like, I don't give a fuck. As long as my black ass has breath in my body, I will criticize white people all the fuck I want until you motherfuckers start learning that your mediocrity isn't special. Leave. You leave. You get the fuck out. If black people are so bad, why don't you go back to where you came from? Try that. Try that. Mediocre motherfucker. The fuck is it with you below average, low IQ, low sperm count ass motherfuckers talking to people that are better than you? Go sit your goofy ass.
You know, when you tell us go back, please remember where you came from. And when you want to relegate somebody to a specific place, just remember what your origin is in this world. Please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I want you to understand that you, wherever you are on the earth, you're not a native anywhere. You came there and took it from the native people who are there. So please don't talk about going back, because if others talk to you about that, where would you go?
Go back to Africa. One of the top racist things that a person can say to a black person is, like, y'all forget that every black person isn't from Africa. It's like y'all think black means Africa. What about Haiti? What about Jamaica? What about Dominican Republic? What about all these other places that black people live and black people come from?
Damn, this sister said, I just got in a bad argument yesterday with one of my Mexican friends. She asked, why wasn't we being deported back to Africa? Because black Americans are the only demographic of people in the United States who are non-deportable. We're the only ones that are not migrants. Let that sink in. And I'm not directing that towards you, sister. You already know what's going on. But a lot of those folks are confused. I mean, if we're really Africans and we really come from Africa, then why have they never tried to deport us to Africa? Let's talk about
Absolutely oppressed in America today.
Oh, now you want to switch your stance. Oh, well, that's good to hear.
I've seen them be discriminated against. I've seen them being called the hard R. I've seen people associate them with stereotypes that aren't always true for all black people.
Well, good. I'm glad you realize that.
But you know the one thing I've never seen?
Of course. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Is a white guy freak out because he was called a racial slur.
Yeah, you ever wonder why that is? Because most white people throughout the entire history of this country, up to this very day, have not lived the black experience. And you better be damn glad that you didn't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be enjoying life as much as you're enjoying it right now. On the other hand, I believe that if you did experience that you actually would have a lot more compassion for black people. Yeah, most white people don't freak out over being called a racial slur because most white people have not lived oppressed in this country's history and still don't. You don't have to live with the knowledge of your grandmother or your great-grandmother or somebody within your family's history, within your lineage, was a slave, was actually owned by somebody else. You don't have to live with the fear that police are always out to get you. Your people are not 7.5 times more likely to be falsely convicted of unaliving somebody. Your people are not 8 times more likely to be falsely convicted of SAing somebody. Those are real statistics, by the way. You know who they're true for? Black people. Yeah. Your people do not have hundreds of stories throughout our country's history of when their communities were starting to blossom, a mob of a different race would go into their communities, destroy their communities, and unalive your people at masses throughout the entire country's history. But you know who does have that history? Black people. See, because the truth of the matter is that when your ancestors fought for freedom in this country, they fought for freedom for themselves, not with anybody else in mind. Because when they did fight for freedom and actually received it, nobody tried to take that away from them. So let's sum it all up here, shall we? Slavery for literally hundreds of years. Then once they were actually finally freed from slavery, the Jim Crow era, which they had to fight to even be considered a full human being. So because they weren't considered a full human being, they were not allowed to have all the rights that your ancestors had at that time. So this goes on for the next couple of 100 years, but they're still allowed to work and get paid money and try to build wealth. But throughout that time, as they're trying to build their wealth, while some of them actually become successful and start to create blossoming communities, blossoming black communities, what happens? White mobs would come, completely destroy their neighborhoods, and unalive them at masses. Literally hundreds of stories. Do your research. On top of all that, that leads us to the Civil Rights era. So what happens during the Civil Rights era? Couple of good things. The Equal Voters Act passes. The Civil Rights Act passes. But what also happens during the Civil Rights era? They try to stain the name of Martin Luther King Jr. amongst other civil rights leaders. They also create harsher punishments for crimes that usually black people would end up getting arrested for. Which, by the way, is how you ended up getting a lot of black people that were charged for drug crimes that are still doing time to this very day. Meanwhile, your Uncle Jethro Bob got out 5-6 years on good behavior because he was a child PDFer. That makes sense to you? Because it still doesn't make sense to me. So with all of that happening within our country's racial history, throughout the entire time until this very day, they're being called racial slurs. And you don't expect them to freak out when you call them those words? Of course white people don't freak out when being called a racial slur. They don't have the same history of being oppressed that black people have in our country, unfortunately. So yeah, there's a reason for that. And if you don't understand why, God help your soul. Oh, Gio, why don't you just get smarter?
Always funny seeing white men use the same insults that their great-great-great-granddaddies used to use, thinking that it still affects us the same way. Telling us to go back to Africa, comparing black people to animals, you know, shit like that. Quick story time. My grandfather was once one of those racist white men until his only biological daughter fell in love with a black man and created a black baby. And now, that same racist white man, his bloodline will end with black children, with a black legacy. The world truly does have a way of humbling people. So before y'all get on my post and making all these extra comments and stuff, make sure that your children are gonna keep that pure bloodline.
Black people are the only people on the planet who have their internal conflict, their regular internal conflict, used as rationale for their oppression. The entire world wants you to know that the only way that they will acknowledge the oppression of African people, the only way they will acknowledge what they did to African people, is if you are morally perfect. Anybody who brings up that argument with you does not have any interest in acknowledging your oppression to begin with. We never bring up Latinx on Latinx crime. We never bring up Asian on Asian crime. We only bring up black on black crime because they truly believe you deserve what happened to you. They truly believe that you deserve the most brutal, unforgiving, and unescapable oppression of humankind history. Because African people used to sell each other too. I truly believe that any minute imperfection of the behaviors of African people since the beginning of time, any single blemish that you could find on our record, can justify what we have faced as a people. Everybody will acknowledge that the Holocaust was a terrible thing. Everybody will acknowledge that the Holocaust should not have happened. Everybody will acknowledge that Jews deserve an apology, that Jews deserve support, that Jews deserve remittances. You will never see anybody talking about the Holocaust and saying, well, Jews did this to Jews before. But all because Crips don't like Bloods. Noops don't like Alphas. Black women not unified with black men. We deserve the worst treatment in humankind history. Peace out.
Listen to me. Racism is destroying America. And I'm not talking metaphorically. We are literally hunting down the people who make our economy run. The hardest working people doing the hardest, most menial jobs, and we are chasing them through our streets with masked Gestapo agents. We keep allowing politicians like Trump to tell us that our neighbors, our own neighbors who live and work right next to us, that they are so radical and so dangerous. But you know what? The only thing that's radical and dangerous in this country is our inability to love one another, to love people and to show decency to people who don't look like us. It's like we would rather not have a country than to share it, because that is the choice that we are making right now.
I got a question for white folks that are going around and telling black people, Middle Eastern people, Asian people, they need to go back to their country. What is wrong with you? Do you realize that you ain't from here either? Do you realize that? That you're not originally from the United States of America. It wasn't even called America 300 years ago. We're about to celebrate our 250th anniversary of the country actually being officially declared our country. When my people came here, we weren't even considered full citizens, and to some people, we're still not. But why are people trying to tell folks to go back to your country, go back to Africa, go back to India, go back to... What is that about? You don't belong here either. I mean, maybe not. Let me correct that. It's not that you don't belong here. You weren't originally from here anyway. None of us were. Maybe the Native Americans. Now, I've heard some recent information that maybe black people were kind of everywhere. But none of us came here, are original here. There were Native Americans in this country. Folks came and colonized it and kind of took over the country by hook or crook. But why are you telling people, which I kind of find it hilarious every time I hear it or see it or whatever the case may be, why are you telling people to go back to their country? You aren't original here. Nobody's original here. It's funny you never hear that from somebody that's Native American. Go back to your country. They don't tell anybody to go back to the country. Not that I hear. They mean go back to your country. Y'all wasn't from here anyway. You came from mostly from Europe. Go back to your country? What's that about? So in the comments, tell me, what do you think? What is that about? Why have they forgotten? Have they forgotten they aren't original to our country? That this is a place that they migrated to and colonized and took over? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Talk to you later.
I was in line at Trader Joe's, and this YT woman thought that she could just rude me like it wasn't a line there. And when I checked her on it, she was like, go back to Africa. Oh, and I was mad. I was tight. Who are you talking to? Who are you telling to go back to Africa? And then it dawned on me. This raisin and a potato salad having ass chick is right. I should go back. What am I doing here? What? You see what we dealing with? We voting between two presidents that are on life support. Gas is sky high. Inflation is only going up. Like, what? I should go to the motherland. I'll probably have cows waiting on me, land, 10 wives. I'm be riding on the back of elephants, playing with baby lions. What am I waiting for?
Europeans never taught anyone anything. They came with blood-stained flags and empty scrolls, colonized every inch of the world, not to teach, but to extract, not to educate, but to erase. The first classrooms they built were prisons. The first lessons they taught were obedience. The first subjects were silence, submission, and self-erasure. They didn't teach agriculture. They destroyed it. Didn't teach medicine. They banned it. Didn't teach math. They outlawed indigenous numeracy systems that could track time across galaxies. Didn't teach astronomy. They hunted those who mapped stars without telescopes. They didn't teach writing. They burned codices, confiscated manuscripts, and replaced millennia of scholarship with European graffiti. Every library they ever built sat atop a pyre of someone else's knowledge. They came with chalk only after coming with chains, and even then the chalk was used to redraw borders, erase names, and overwrite ancestors. You call that teaching? They didn't bring education. They brought miseducation. Europe didn't spread knowledge. It spread standardization, indoctrination, and linguicide. Europeans never taught anyone anything. They only rebranded what they stole, only standardized what they feared, only certified what they could monetize, and they only uplifted the voices that agreed to stay silent.
You argue with a racist person, the first thing they say is go back to Africa, go back to your country. And you know what? That's low-key a great idea. I feel like all black people should just go back to Africa. We could turn that bitch to the new Wakanda. You feel me? Like, imagine if we just had all black people living in Africa. We'd have to cut out all the gang culture, though. I know it's already gang culture in Africa, but we'd have to cut all that shit out. Like, imagine all the black minds working together in Africa, in our own country. So, yeah, racist people, y'all were right with that shit. Let's go back to Africa. Fuck y'all. Don't blame me. It's science.
Every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens, if you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others. Now, getting right along. Your hand is still up. You still didn't learn anything, did you? Didn't I just say when your hand is up, you are thinking of what you're going to say instead of what's being said? Didn't I just say that?
Yes, you did.
And did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
And did you decide that you were just going to do it your way?
I was.
Wait a minute, you're on a roll there for a minute.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Yes, I did.
Now, since you choose to not listen to others, what do you suppose we're going to do where you're concerned?
No, listen to me.
Thank you very much.
May I finish what I was saying,
No, because you're still thinking of what you're going to say instead of what I'm saying. Now, getting right along.
I heard what you were saying.
You're doing it
I
again.
understand what you were
You're
saying.
doing it again.
I don't care.
You're doing it
because
again.
It's wrong.
You're doing it again.
Persecuted her for standing out.
You're doing it again.
Persecuted him for standing out. The only change that ever happens is when people stand out, and I have to stand back too.
Martin Luther King Jr. was shot. Are you in any physical danger here? Are you in any physical danger here? Is that girl in any physical danger here? Emmett Till was hanged by his neck after he was beaten almost to death, simply because he made a statement.
So welcome back, guys. It's a crazy situation right now, because when you look at videos like this, you begin to ask yourself what gives people like this, the audacity, the impetus to come up and to make this kind of remarks and rhetorics, especially concerning the black community, without doing your proper research. People can sound as if they have some basic sense of reasoning, but in actuality they lack reasoning. In short, they behave like animals, because you can't come out and be talking about black Americans the way you are talking about them without what you know. It's so easy for you to sit back wherever you are and say that black Americans are this, black Americans are that, and that they're always trying to play the victims when you have never been the victims. When the systems, the institutions are designed in such a way that being black means you are a potential suspect for any crime or any evil act within the vicinity and around the vicinity. Then you can be shot by a police officer because you simply put your hands down in the vehicle because you're black. And that there are people of suspect within the vicinity and we're looking for a suspect, and because you're black you are likely that suspect, and so you don't know what it is to be racially profiled as a black person. And this is very sad and very insensitive, for people to wake up and make these statements and start talking about black people should return to Africa. We know the history. We know how white people came to the Americans. You all came from Great Britain, and you came and occupied this land that you called America, and you declared your independence. Independence from whom? You were not independent from a dictator. No, from any system. No. You simply conquered the indigens. You took the lands of the natives and you made it yours. And if there's anybody that needs to even be deported, it shouldn't be the black Americans. It shouldn't be the black Americans. It should be the whites. But that is not what we are saying here. That is not the whole essence of this video. We have moved on. Generations have made generations. 6 generations, 7 generations have been in this place. And so you don't have the right to say what you're saying. And I think he got his own fair share of the backlash from our analysts. So you're welcome, guys, to my YouTube channel. I'm your host. Feel free to give us a thumbs up, give us a subscription if you like what we do. All credits to the original content creators whose videos and skits we have shared on this day. I want to know what your thoughts, your opinions are in the comment section. See you on my next video.